Hey masters, welcome back to JoanMedia, welcome back to another amazing video of WEBDRIVERIO. Today the video that I want to show and actually share with you guys is the selectors video. Today we're going to review the basic methods that we have available in WEBDRIVERIO to select an element in the UI of a website. It is important to mention that because we also have mobile selectors available. It is not in the scope of this video, but if you support this, you hit the like button, you subscribe to this channel, we're gonna have mobile testing in the future using WEBDRIVERIO and Appium. Probably we can check Express too, but it is in the first thing that I want to check is Appium. Okay, so taking a look of the official documentation of selectors, you can see that we're gonna need this syntax in order to locate an element. The $sign or double sign to map as a collection of selectors. And as you can see over here, they have nothing to do with jQuery or the CSS Selector engine. That's important, and well, I just wanted to clarify that before continuing with the code. So the website that I'm gonna be using is this one, Tools QA. I have like 7 links over here which do different stuff depending on the action that you want to perform. For example, if I reload the website, you're gonna see when I scroll down, if I click on create it, you can see that the link or actually the response is 201 with the text created. That's correct. Or also, if I click on not found, it is going to be a 404 and the status text is going to be not found as expected too, right? It is a basic API request and we're receiving the correct API responses depending on the stuff that we need. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE that we are using to learn WEBDRIVERIO. You can use any other one, it is okay. I just wanted to recall that in the last video we reviewed how to use Mocha.js, what is a describe, what are the hooks before each, after each, and also we reviewed what is an it and some methods like the skip one that can help you to run your tests depending on your needs. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description if you want to take a look of that. If you want to learn more about Mocha.js, it is going to be a lot of help over there. Okay, so let's continue with locators. I'm going to continue with the describe here. This describe is going to have a title, which is in a string. So it is going to be locators demo. Then I need to declare an asynchronous function or a function. Actually, I don't need this to be an asynchronous if I am not wrong. And if I'm wrong, please let me know that in the comment section for sure. I'm open to learn from you guys. Okay, so I need the before each. This one needs an asynchronous callback function, right? Because I need to visit this website every single time that I declare a need. So the way to do it with WEBDRIVERIO is going to be doing a wait browser that I'm not sure if it's URL. Let me take a look of my notes, but I think so. Yeah, it is URL, and here I have to send the string that I need. In this case, the URL that I want to visit. Yeah, it is like a site visit in WebDriver in Cypress or Selenium get using Selenium WebDriver. Yeah, it's the same stuff. So now I want to do an it here, right? This it is gonna be a CSS example, and it is going to be an asynchronous function as callback function. Okay, and we're gonna be using arrow function. And over here, I'm gonna declare 2 different variables. The first one is gonna be the created link. This variable is gonna be referencing this particular link over here, create, okay? And if I inspect this, you can see that the ID is created. And if you recall my videos in the past, and if you haven't seen that, we have reviewed the different strategies that we have available to select elements using CSS Selector. You can use any attribute available in the DOM, you can look the class, the ID, and so on. And the best way to do it with the ID is using the syntax is this one, await, right? Then we have to use the $sign and inside of the parentheses send the value created. But for actually to select the ID the element by the ID, we need the keyword, or I don't know how to call this, but the selector number sign right before the value of the attribute for the ID in specific, right? As I'm telling you, please go ahead and check the CSS selector videos because you're gonna have a better understanding of this. Then I'm gonna declare another constant, which is gonna be the link response, right? And this response is gonna have the same structure, await, $, and I need a value of the selector. And if I come here and look of the UI, you can see that every single link is gonna change only one element. In this case is a p tag, if I'm not wrong, and this p tag has this particular ID. So I'm gonna do the same stuff. I'm gonna look for this ID, and now we have mapped the two elements that I need for this particular test. I need the link itself and then the link response, so I can make sure that the response is the correct one depending on my needs. Okay. Then I'm gonna make sure that the create a link is in the viewport using the scroll into view method. Why? Because if you check when I reload the website, you can see that created is in the viewport, but if WebDriver.io doesn't recognize it because it is not resized correctly or something like that, using a scroll into view, it is gonna allow you to scroll down until it finds the element. It is scroll down to check that the element is in the viewport, so it can click, it can make an assertion, and so on. You need that. It is important, or you're gonna have an error. It is important to mention that because it happened to me, and it is gonna avoid you a lot of headaches. Okay, created link. Now I need to click on the element so I can have the response in the UI, and then as you can imagine, I have to scroll down until we take a look of the link response, right? And using this method link response, let's see, link response that scroll into view. Now it is gonna, for example, click on created, and then the WebDriver.io automatically it is gonna scroll down until finding this response here, so I can make the assertion. Now how it is gonna work, we need to use the keyword await. It is fundamental, you need it, and then you can do an expect, and then you can, I'm gonna complete the syntax of the assertion. It is gonna be an expect and to have text containing. If you wanna learn more about assertions, please let me know in the comment sections, because I'm gonna be more than glad to bring more examples of this for sure. But the first parameter here is gonna be the link response. Okay, and then we have to send the value that I want to compare. In this case is this text link has responded with 201 status created. Okay, there it is, and I'm gonna explain you why this await is important, even though the IDE is saying that the await has no effect on the type of this expression. Okay, let's run this. I'm gonna run my script using npm run WebDriver.io, and as you're gonna see, probably it is gonna work, right? It is gonna scroll down, click, then scroll down again, check the message, right? And it is working fine. However, if I change the assertion to make sure that it is actually validating stuff, I'm gonna do it again, right? I'm gonna execute it, and you're gonna see that probably we're gonna have a positive result because I have changed the expected string, and it is not going to match as expected, right? There it is. It is currently retrying to see if there is something to wait, or if it is something wrong with the UI, and we need to wait a few seconds. But as you can see, it is failing because it is detecting that it is the expected response has an S, an extra S, and the received one doesn't have that S. That's why it is important to use await, because if I delete this, let me show you that. If I delete that await, you're gonna see that we're gonna have a false positive, right? Let me show you that. There it is, and there it is. The test is passing even though the link response doesn't have that text. That's why it is important to use await, even though it is not expected. It is kind of weird. Probably I'm missing something, and I'm sorry guys. Probably it is kind of obvious, but at the moment that I'm recording this, it is not obvious to me. So I'm gonna try to research more about this and try to give you a rational explanation in the next video for sure. Okay, so once you know how to use CSS example, the basic one, I want to show you another one, right? I'm gonna copy the last one. I'm going to show you another example that you can use using CSS. Okay, let's imagine that you want to access, for example, the no content link, okay, using its index. Let me explain you that. We have a div ID, actually a div element, right, that contains every single h5 and p in this element, right? We have an h5 which has a strong which is saying following links will open a new tab, like this one, right? Or I'm not sure why. Probably is this one. Yeah, this is the element that I'm finding. But inside of every single p, right, you're gonna see that I have the a tags over there, right? Let's imagine that I wanna select the element by its index. As you can see over here, we have like 4 of 9 or the 5th of 9 and so on. We have like numbers for every single a tag. Well, I'm gonna do here a trick. I'm gonna use the method nth child, and inside of these parentheses I'm gonna use 0. It doesn't have anything, but if I look for the first one, it doesn't have anything too. I'm sure why. Let me see. There it is. Now since I'm in the child number 2 of the p, right, now I'm capable to look for every single a available as a child of the parent method, right? That's good. Now let's imagine that I'm gonna look for the no content link. It has the index number 6, as you can see over here. That's important, right? That's amazing actually. So well, using this you can have like a generic selector, right, depending on the index that you have. I'm bringing this to this video because well, to be honest, WebDriver.io doesn't have that kind of method or helper available by default, as like for example Cypress or Testcafe does, and it is pretty useful. So CSS by index, and instead of created here, I'm gonna send the new selector, right? And well, the new selector is going to be no content, so I need to change it over here. Let me see. Link response is going to be no content, so I need to change the name of the selector so it has sense. No content. And well, if I look for the response, it should be different, right? It should be this message 204 no content. So I'm gonna change the assertion to, there it is. I'm gonna run this again and see if what happened, if it works or not. Let's see. It is gonna open up the website. It is gonna run the first test at the beginning, right? For sure. They create it, and then we are gonna have the second one. There it is. It is not finding created. Why? Oh, I see. Because I left the S over here. I'm sorry for that, guys. Let's run this again. Of course, it wasn't going to work, right? Yeah. Now it is gonna look for the created link for sure. It should work. There it is. Now the second one works too, as expected by index. I just wanted to, well, give you that example too, guys. Okay, let's continue with the next type of selector. Let's imagine that I want to look for link text. Okay, so the link text is going to help you to get the anchor element with a specific text in it. Okay, so let's imagine that I want to get the a tag that has the word moved, right? So you can do something like this using this equal sign. Okay, so you can do something like this. Let me show you that. It is going to be a link text, right? But I'm gonna do the partial link text. I'm gonna explain you why. Partial link text. Okay, and well, the way to do it is going to be using the $, right, as the first parameter. So I'm gonna do it over here, and then you have to send the string that you want. I want to use the moved string over here. Okay, so I'm gonna do it, but instead of sending the moved the whole world, right, I'm sorry, the whole word, I'm gonna send only move without the ed, right? And in order to make WebDriver.io to find this element, we need to use the asterisk symbol at the beginning of this expression, so it is going to be capable to find partial link text. Okay, I just wanted to give you this scenario because it might be helpful for you. Okay, it has to be moved link over here, and it should work, or I hope so. So when I click on moved, also the string changes, right, in the response, and when I do the assertion, it probably should work. Let's see. I'm running actually the script. As you're gonna see, well, we have the created test case at the beginning. Then we have the no content, and then we have the moved one. And there it is. It is working fine, guys. Let's take a look of the test cases. There it is. All of them are working correctly. And let's go ahead and continue with the next one. Let's take a look of the official documentation. Let's imagine that now I want to look for an element with certain text. Now it is not an anchored. It is an element, for example, an H1, right? Let's imagine that you want to grab that element by its content, or it's a string, or its value itself, right? So let's continue with the bad request link. So I'm gonna go and copy and paste another it, so I don't have to overthink too much this stuff, because it is the same it actually. And well, we're gonna change the move link to bad request. Okay, so I'm gonna change the name here. It's gonna be bad request link, and instead of sending this value, now if we take a look of the official documentation, well, the best way to match an element with certain text is using let's take a look of this, sending the tag that you want to get. It is sending, for example, in this case, an H1. If you take a look of the last one, the partial link text, we didn't have to send anything. Now we need to send the element, no matter if it is an A tag, an H1, or anything else. So if I check and I inspect the DOM, well, I need to send A tag, for example, right? So it is an A tag, then an equal. Let's take a look of the example over here. This one, and then we have to send the string that I want to match in the DOM. In this case, it's gonna be bad request. Okay, so let's do it. And obviously, when I click on the bad request example, we're gonna have another issue, or another message here. I'm sorry. Yeah. There it is, pasted correctly. Now I'm gonna only execute this test, so I don't have to wait too much. Okay. I'm gonna run this and let's see what is happening. Well, it is gonna click on the element bad request, right? And then the message should match as expected. There it is. It is passed and working correctly. It is important to mention that we also have other other cases, right? You can mix, for example, class and text. So you can send the ID, right? And then you can grab, or actually send the text that you want to match. And that's important, guys, because you can do a lot of stuff with this combination. That's something interesting that other frameworks don't have, for sure. Let's continue with the last example that I have for you today, guys, and it is going to be the Xpath example. Okay, the Xpath example is important because it is a very useful kind of selector, and sometimes I'm gonna give you an example of that. So let's go ahead and continue with an unauthorized link. Okay, so I'm gonna copy again a new it over here. I'm gonna delete the only, and I'm gonna paste a new it. This is going to be an Xpath example, right? And this Xpath example will change the selector to unauthorized. Let me see here, unauthorized. There it is. And I'm gonna change the other into selectors here, where I click and scroll. And now, instead of sending the text, right, that I want to match, actually this it has to be a element ByText, right? But this one is Xpath as well. This is the stuff that I'm gonna do, and well, the selector is gonna change a bit. Also, I have another video explaining all the Xpath examples that you can imagine. Well, I also obviously I have some that I've missed, but well, let me give you this example. I'm gonna be targeting every single element in the DOM using this relative selector in Xpath, okay? And then I'm gonna look for a specific one using a particular expression here that it is going to look for the ID, okay? So I'm gonna look for the ID that this unauthorized element has, which is unauthorized over here. So I will have to do this using this syntax, and as you're gonna see now, it is targeting the ID, well, evaluating if every single item of the DOM has this particular ID. It's another thing, right? It's another method, another strategy that can help you to find an element in the DOM, for example. So I'm gonna change this value, and now if I execute this again, and I obviously change the response message because, well, we needed to check the response. I'm gonna execute this. It has the only method in Mocha to only execute this particular it, and let's do it. Let's execute it to see what is the result. Yeah. Let's see, and well, we should click on unauthorized link and get the correct message over here, and it is working, guys. So I wanted to also mention that we have other well, methods like area, role attribute. We have JS functions to, for example, use JavaScript to get, for example, the next sibling. Right. We also have some selectors with some limitations to get shadow DOM selectors. And at the end of the documentation, we have React selectors specific, right? And also we have custom selector strategies where we can mix our knowledge and grab and actually create some interesting custom methods. So thank you very much, guys. I guess that we have covered the basic selector methods that we have in WebDriver.io. Hope that you enjoyed this, and well, I hope that you like the way that it was explained in this video. See you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much for watching this until the end. This was JoanMedia, and see you soon. Bye bye.